Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome to our channel. Thank you for being here. So basically today what we are going to be looking at is our weekly analysis. We're just going to look at a certain pairs. We're only going to look at USDJPY, right? After looking at USDJPY, we're going to look at GBPNZD, right? After looking at GBPNZD, we are going to look at Euro, AUD, and possibly Euro GBP. So those are the pairs that we're going to be looking at today, and of course GBP AUD. So those are the pairs that we're going to be looking at, and we'll see how we're going to capitalize them during the course of the week. So of course, as usual, when we're analyzing, what I do when I'm analyzing, I start from a higher time frame, right? I start from a higher time frame. Coming from a higher time frame, I go to my higher time frame being our daily time frame, and then my lower time frame being 30 minutes, 1 hour to 30 minutes, depending on how the pattern is looking. So now guys, when I'm looking at this, now I'll go to my daily time frame from here and see what's happening. So when I'm looking at my daily time frame here, this is what I'm seeing, guys. We realize that the market put the price until it got here to on 110.980, right? But now we see that we had a drawback to these areas and we had a formation of this pattern here, right? More of an ascending structure there. Okay, more of an ascending structure. But we realize that during the course of the week last week, we see that the price pushed all the way until it got to these areas where it found resistance, right? That's where it found resistance. So now we want to see what exactly is happening here. Are we possibly going to get a breakout of these areas, a retest and a move to the downside? Or are we going to see price moving further, going up and pushing up to create higher highs, right? So now that's what we want to see, guys. And we can only confirm this with our technical analysis, right? I trade technical analysis, nothing else, not fundamentals or anything of that sort. So basically when I'm looking at this price here, guys, what I see is that the price has pushed, it went to create higher highs there, and then it came down to create higher lows. But now what I'm seeing is that the prices failed to actually come all the way up and break the what? And break those higher highs so that it creates further higher highs. So now what I'm seeing, guys, is that it has created higher highs here, lower highs actually, and then it has come to create lower lows here. Why am I saying that? It's because it has failed to break that, hence creating a lower low at these points here. So now what I expect to see, guys, is a further movement to the downside here. After giving us that further movement to the downside, it's also going to create our lower low. So remember, guys, the market moves in a zigzag. It doesn't move in a straight line. So what am I saying here? What I'm simply saying is that the market will come to create lower lows, come to create lower highs, break the support there, and then create lower lows again, come back again to create the lower what? The lower highs. But now the trick, guys, is that when it's coming back to create the lower highs, it does not have to go above this area there at the top, because the moment it goes protrudes there, guys, and creates further higher highs there, then we are looking for a retest of that support and a further movement to the upside. It simply means that the market would be changing its direction. But in this particular case here, what we are seeing is that the market created lower the highest high there, right? After doing that, we see that the market comes back here to create lower lows. Why am I saying that, guys? It's because also what I would have wanted to see is price either finding support around those areas, right? And the most that could have done, it should have found support around those areas, because this is the area where I would say that the price went on further high to create, the price went further high to create higher highs, and then came back down to create what? Higher lows, and further moved all the way going up, right? Remember, this is our daily time frame, guys. So now you see that there's a switch, as we can see that there now that creation of that higher high, formation of that higher high, coming back down and creating that what? Higher low, but it broke through the what? The support there, and then now it gave us a lower low. So now what I expect to see, guys, is a further movement to the downside. Okay, so now what we are going to do, let me just delete these things, guys. What we're going to do now is we're going to go down to a lower time frame just to see exactly what is happening. Are we going to get a further movement to the downside? What exactly is happening? So that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to break it down to you bit by bit and see what we have. So now I'm going to go down to my 4-hour time frame there. You see it, right? So on my 4-hour time frame, that's what I am seeing, guys, right? We see that price is being moving in a zigzag form, of course. So now what I expect to see is the price moving, going down and breaking this support trend line, and then move further down. Now you also see that we have this double top that was formed here. A double top doesn't necessarily have to be on the same line. For instance, for it to be on the same level like this, no, it can protrude like that. Remember, the market is not as perfect as we would want it to be. So now what we want to see is the price moving further down. So when it breaks that neckline there at the bottom of that double top, when it breaks that neckline, guys, I'm really anticipating for price to actually rally going all the way down. Okay, I want it to rally going all the way down. So this trend line will be here, just to make sure that it's nice. Okay, so what we would have wanted from this pattern to actually look as perfect, go close to perfect, would have been, since you see that we got actually multi-touches from the bottom here, we have the first, we have the second here, validating our trend line, of course, and now we are approaching the third trend line. What is it are we going to see from here? We're going to see further movement to the upside. We're going to see the creation of a commitment pattern and then a movement going downwards. What is it are we going to see? So now what I'm expecting, guys, from the market is when it breaks the neckline, I want it to get to this area, either it breaks out impulsively, comes back to retest, and then goes all the way down. Or when that fails to happen, guys, what I would want to see is a formation of another ascending structure that shows that there's commitment for price to move going further down. So for instance, when it gets to these points, I want it to actually rally all the way going up, creating some sort of a pattern, and then dropping, going down. So that's what I'm seeing on USDJPY, guys. That's what I'm seeing on USDJPY. So even if you were to zoom in, just to make sure that you get nice entries, because now you know your entry points, where you're supposed to get in on the market and so forth. So as you can see, this is how I had marked it on the daily time frame. I'm just trying to zoom in so that the chart is clear. So that's what I'm seeing now that I've zoomed in, guys. I'm seeing the resistance on top there, right? I marked this area also, but let me just remove it. I'm seeing that resistance area. Now seeing that resistance area, price moved rallying all the way down. Now we are on support, and we can see that price is trying to actually push up again. Let me just zoom in so that you see the candlesticks that I'm seeing here. Now, if I do this, you'll see that the price is trying to actually come back up and push going all the way now, right? Or going up, back up. But now what you're seeing is that multiple candlestick rejections, guys. Multiple candlestick rejections. So now what I want to see is price actually going all the way down, dropping from those areas, right? Dropping from those areas here. After dropping from there, it comes to break the neckline, and then we move going down with it. But remember, it's a point of interest. As you can see, price has been bouncing off from these areas. After bouncing off from those areas, it shoots all the way up. So what we wait for is for price to actually break that support, and then we know that we are safe for a sell. Okay, so we're going to be on the lookout for USDJPY and see what exactly is going to give us. But I'm anticipating for price to actually push all the way down until it gets to our TP. Let me just check what our TP here would be. Okay, let me just check. So I'm expecting price to actually push all the way down until it gets to 107,501. Okay, so even if I zoom it, guys, you see this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing here. Okay, this is what I'm seeing there. Okay, so now I want us to look at the candlestick formation that I'm seeing at the moment, guys. Candlestick formation that I'm seeing at the moment. Okay, let me just delete this thing so that we don't crowd the screen. So what I'm seeing from these areas is very simple. What I'm seeing from these areas, guys, is the formation of a bearish engulfing candlestick. If you look at this candlestick here, it engulfs the bullish one here. So now what we want to see, guys, is price actually going further down until it gets to 107,501. So now before even price actually got to those areas, we can see that there was already price rejection from there. The buyers are not stepping in the market. Now the sellers are actually stepping in the market because that is a reversal candlestick, as we all know it, guys. So now we wait for price to actually push all the way down, and we capitalize on that opportunity. So now I want to move on to GBPNZD, right? GBPNZD. Okay. So this is GBPNZD, guys. This is GBPNZD, right? So with GBPNZD, the reason why I'm looking for a sell from those areas is simply because, guys, we actually reached the resistance where price has been failing to break for quite a long time now. Price has been failing to break those areas. Let me just mark them. Price has been failing to break those areas here, as you can see them. And then it also created that double top there, which we are seeing there, guys, right? So now after the creation of a double top, we are now looking for an entry, but we could not just get in on an entry from daily time frame. We need to go down to our smaller time frames just to see on what if there's an opportunity to capitalize on. Now, why am I saying that there's an opportunity here? It's simply because, guys, remember our double top is a reversal pattern. Double top is a reversal pattern. We are only looking for sells. Then the opposite also applies for double bottom. We'll be looking for buys. So now, guys, since we have identified that opportunity and that there is resistance or so much resistance from those levels, what is it are we going to look for? Now, I just want to see if I can actually identify a nice pattern from these areas here, just to see if we can project the price to actually move further down. Okay, so yes, so this is what I'm seeing here, GBPNZD. Okay, let me just see something. Okay. So this is what I'm seeing on GBPNZD. Let me just fix my screen there, guys. So you see price has been rallying going up, right? But now it got to these areas and it's actually giving us a resistance. It found resistance here, then now it found resistance there. So now it only gives us an opportunity to actually sell from the market. As you can see, when price found resistance at these areas, it pushed going all the way down. So this is purely technical analysis and price action, guys. Looking at what the price is saying to us, what is it telling us, and so forth. Okay, so those are the things that we are going to be looking for or to be looking at during the course of our Zoom sessions. So of course we'll be having Zoom sessions with some of you guys. For further details, you can just use the details that are on the channel. So anyways, guys, so that's what we are seeing there. Now I want to go down to a smaller time frame, which is 4 hours, and see what exactly is happening from the market. Okay, so if I go to the 4-hour time frame, this is what I am seeing, guys. This is what I am seeing right now. I want to identify a point of entry, something that I can capitalize on when the market opens, of course. So here I'll put this lower trend line there, my first touch and second touch there, validating my trend line, and then I'll put another one here, right? I have my first there, right? That's my first, and then my second here. Okay, so first being this one, then the second being that. So now I have this pattern here, guys. This is, remember, from the double top that I identified there, but I'm anticipating for price to push just a bit down before we actually look for a move, for a swing move to the bottom. So now the first immediate move that I'm looking for, guys, is simply this one here. I'm expecting price to actually break the support. After breaking the support, I want it to actually get to these levels where we are going to be taking our profit or securing our profits and so forth. Then you might even hold until it shows you that it's going further down. But the chances of it going down are very high because it already gave us the multi-touches that we're looking for, the first, the second, the third here, and then now we're waiting for price to react and then move all the way down until it gets to 186,529. Okay, so we just be waiting for that, guys. But going back to 4-hour time frame, I'm looking at that nice beautiful pattern there, guys. Okay, so now dropping down to 1-hour time frame, let's see what exactly are we seeing from the market. Okay, this is our 1-hour time frame. Very nice, guys. Very nice, very nice. I think it's going to sell really nicely. So as you can see here, guys, what we want to see is price breaking out of those areas. After breaking out of that support, right? If it breaks that support, it comes and breaks the lower trend line, and then we know that we are good to go. Then we're going to place our sell entries and so forth. So that's what I've been looking at on GBPNZD this week, guys. Now going on to Euro AUD. Let me see if I have anything that is nice on Euro AUD. So I'm just going to explain Euro AUD because we've been on this trade from last week, but I'm just going to explain it to you guys so that you understand why I've been on the trade for the past week. So now if you look at Euro AUD, guys, you see that Euro AUD has been going down, right? It has been impulsive going down. So now what I'm looking at now is an impulsive move from these areas, a breather, and then an impulsive move here, and then we see a correction here, and then an impulsive move to these areas. And now we are getting this whole continuation pattern that we are looking at, guys. Why am I saying it's a continuation pattern? It's because it's in an ascending structure. And of course, in an ascending structure, what you're looking for, their cells. So that's what I'm looking at, guys, there. So we want to move further deep into the analysis and see if exactly there is a sell on that there's an opportunity on that pair. So now as I'm looking at it, guys, I realize that there is the first touch, we have our second touch, we have our third, we actually have multi-touches there, and then here at the bottom we have one, we have two, meaning we're anticipating our third touch. That's all there is to it, really. It's not as complicated as they might want to make it seem. So that's what we are looking for there. So if you capitalized on an entry from these areas, then you are on the safe side. But now remember, it's still good, you're still safe, because this candlestick here is not closed yet, meaning that there's still an opportunity for you to get in, right? So for me, personally, what I would do is I'll drop down to my 4-hour time frame and find an opportunity there, because I know there's an opportunity for me to capitalize on before price actually reaches these areas here. But this would be a very risky entry. This would be a risky entry because I'm basing my entry on the support here. I'm basing my entry on the support, not because it broke out of the trend line or whatsoever. So I am basing my entry on that support there. So what I would do really is, because I have marked my first, second, and third, this being my entry point, this being my first TP, right? And this being here, this here being my last TP. But now this will be my last TP if I'm going to be holding for a lot of days. If I'm going to be holding for a lot of days. Remember, when we're on 4-hour time frame, it simply means that each candlestick, one candlestick forms within those 4 hours. It forms in 4 hours time. So by the time it gets to these points, guys, you'd have been holding for I don't know how many days. So yeah, so now what I want to capitalize on is a move from these areas, and until it gets to these areas here, right? Until it gets to the what? To the support here, to the support. But now look at it this way, guys. The moment it gets to the support, I'm looking at a further movement to the downside. So I might as well just start trailing my stop loss and so forth. Okay, so that would be a very, very nice move for me. So I'll just be on the lookout for that. Now there's a pattern that we trade in our premium group, the GFK, which is called the unmatched pattern. And when I'm looking at that, guys, I'm seeing a shoulder, and I'm seeing both shoulders here. I'm seeing shoulders here, formation of shoulders. So now it's very nice because we actually got a breakout, and now we're going to get a further movement of the market to the downside. So now what I want to see, guys, is when the market opens, can I actually capitalize on those moves? I get on that sell, and then I go all the way down with it. So keep you updated on how these trades actually go during the course of the week. Okay. So then we have Euro GBP. On Euro GBP, this is what has been happening, guys. Very, very nice, juicy stuff. You see price actually got to these areas, creating the lowest lows, and then creating the lower lows there. And then after doing that, we see that price has been running to the upside. Now we want to know what exactly is happening, because now price seems to be stuck in a range. It's stuck at that area there, where it's failing to break the resistance and also failing to break the support. So we want to see exactly what's been happening, because I also capitalize on such moves, because I think they actually give us a clear indication of where exactly are they going to next, right? If you have a clear point of interest, which is your support and your resistance, then you know where the price is going to next. And now, as you can clearly see, that price has been rejecting these areas multiple times. That's why I have my support at those areas, and it's been failing to break the resistance. That's why I have my trend, my line there, and then on top also. But now let's drop down to 4-hour time frame, guys, and see what's happening. So if we go down to 4-hour time frame to see just what's happening here, this is what I have on the chart, guys. You see that price has been failing to break these areas, right? Price is failing to break these areas here, and it's giving us nice candlestick wicks. And now it has given us a nice pattern. So since it has rejected these areas, guys, of course our next point where it's going to get to is this area here, right? If it had actually broke out of here, we're going to be looking for a sell until we get to these areas. But if it, because it actually rejected those areas, we are now going to be looking for a buy to the top. Now let me drop down to 60 minutes and see what our 1 hour time frame is telling us. As you can see on our 1 hour time frame, guys, I managed to identify a very nice pattern, very nice pattern here. So as you can see, we already have our multi touches. We have our first touch, we have our second here, and we have our third touch here, and then we see the market reacting and the price pushing all the way up. So now what we want to see is price breaking out of these areas impulsively. If it does not break out impulsively, I would want to see maybe a push to the upside and a retest of the trend line, and then a further movement to the upside. If that does not happen that way, then we are simply going to get a descending structure at these areas and a move to the upside. So that's what I'll be looking at, guys, for this week. Euro GBP, Euro AUD, right? And then GBP NZD, and then I'll be looking at USDJPY. Okay, then we have AUD NZD also. We are going to be looking at that one, but I'm not going to get into that because of time. I'll also be updating you during the course of the week of what's exactly happening, what pairs that we can be looking forward to actually capitalizing during our intraday trading and so forth. So guys, we're going to be talking more about this. Just stay tuned. Make sure that you like, you share, you subscribe also, so that we can actually grow our community. So thank you guys for being here, for listening, and hopefully these setups play out as we want them to and give us what we want. So blessed and profitable week to everyone. Thank you guys.